I'm Jennifer Nash-Naiyer, and I'm here in my office, and I wanted to talk a little bit about loss, specifically intangible loss. So we'll have deaths that we deal with, and we have to say goodbye to those who have died or those that leave our lives. We don't necessarily talk about the intangible loss that can happen from situations or relationships that change or end. Specifically, thinking about childhood, originating kind of families, and those different intangible losses that we can experience when either a parent is abusing substances or when there's a divorce, which would have the actual loss of a parent in some respects, or if a parent leaves, there can be that loss, that abandonment. But then there can also be these intangible losses that happen. So in situations when we're children and say a parent leaves, there can be a loss of normalcy, there can be a loss of certainty, there can be a loss of trust in that parent. And I think oftentimes there can also be when we have these really difficult emotions as children and we're looking to the other adults in our lives to kind of lead us and guide us, and if those adults haven't been taught how to do that and aren't necessarily there for us, then we can kind of go through and a building loss of trust that even the parents or the adults in my life that are here aren't able to help. And so there can become kind of a loss of trust in others, parents, other adults, and so we kind of get this idea, I need to deal with it on my own. I'm the only person that can help myself. I have to take care of it myself. And so I think there can be a huge amount of sadness and fear that's kind of molded up in that, and ultimately a loss of trust that we can't go to others with our strong emotions. We think about with even looking at trauma through a lens of grief and loss. So trauma being the loss of control of body. So when there's an abuse situation, whether it's sexual or physical, there can be a loss of control of our body where we didn't get a say. And so that can be an extremely difficult loss and so much grief in that. That's, I'm sure, very many conflicting feelings that I've seen with different people who've trusted me with their story. It can be so many different feelings, but at the core being just a severe traumatic loss, a loss of control of their bodies, and how long-reaching that can feel as we continue on in life. I want to also kind of look at those experiences as kind of a loss of childhood or normal childhood, or a loss of feeling like you're the parented. I think there could be something kind of to be said for when we're maybe an older sibling in a situation of divorce where the older siblings, this was a personal experience of mine, I was one of the oldest siblings and feeling a great sense of responsibility at times for my younger siblings, and feeling as if no one else did, if I didn't do it, no one else would. And so kind of taking that into my adult relationships and kind of trying to figure out, okay, what is my role in a relationship? If I have felt like I was kind of having to take on more than a child would normally feel like they had to take on, who's parenting me? And kind of that feeling that, well, I really have to rely on myself, and that I feel most comfortable relating to others through kind of that guider, or, oh, I know what you need to do, I'm going to help you with that, or I'm going to fix that for you, because that's what we were ultimately asked to do as a young one, and it became something that felt really normal and familiar to us. Okay, so I hope today, hearing a little bit more about intangible loss and kind of looking at your lives and to be more curious about the events in your life that kind of presented you with these intangible losses, the events that you didn't think were loss events or that you experienced grief until you kind of look at it now. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great day.